20 years ago, I was asked a question that I have not been able to answer till now. And it starts with Oliver Cromwell back in the 1650s and ends with Def Leppard, of all things, in the 80s. My name is Craig and this is Morning Star Quest, and this is your journey through the Bible. So 20 years ago, in a Christian camp, of all things, we were watching Oliver Cromwell's life story. At first I had no idea why we were even watching it, and then the organizer got up and he asked this question of Oliver Cromwell: how could a good Christian, because he said he was, do so many things that are bad? And at the time I thought, I don't get that question. I don't get the answer to that question, and it's taken me this long to work that out. But I think I've got it now. And I've got to say, Def Leppard actually helped me with this question, thinking about it. Now, if you don't know who Def Leppard is, they were a huge band in the 80s, and I mean huge. I would not be able to think of how many times I played their album, so many times in the car, in the best stereo that my cheap money could buy. But there was one story that kind of stuck me with Def Leppard, and that's with the drummer. His name is Rick Allen, and now back in 1984, the band had just released their first album, and they were on the up and up. And this is where tragedy struck for Rick Allen, is that he had a car accident. It was so horrible that he lost his left arm, like from the shoulder. And if you can think about how a drummer would go with one arm, not so great. But this is where I just thought, wow, that is so great, is the fact that when Rick was recovering, the band got together and they stuck with him through thick and thin, and they said, we're going to wait and we're going to work out how you can still be in the band and you can still be a drummer. They were so close knit. So basically they stopped for like 2 years. I mean, just think about that. The band could have said nicely, sorry Rick, it's not going to work out. We're going to get another drummer. And you couldn't begrudge them that, but they didn't. They said to Rick, we're going to wait. It was 2 years. 1986 was when they had fully worked out how he was even going to play drums, and he was back. And I know you're going to say, how do I spin this to the Old Testament? But it reminds me of a story of a band of brothers. Brothers band? Yeah. Let me just set the stage. They're in Jerusalem. There are this band of brothers, or they just a group of brothers, if you like. Let me read this and you'll get the idea of what's happening here. This is from Jeremiah 35, the Rechabites. This is the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord during the reign of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah. Go to the Rechabite family and invite them to come to one of the side rooms of the house of the Lord and give them some wine to drink. Now, skipping to verse 6. But they replied, we do not drink wine, because our forefather Jehonadab, son of Rechab, gave us this command: neither you nor your descendants must ever drink wine. Also, you must never build houses, sow seed, or plant vineyards. You must never have any of these things, but also live in tents. Then you will live a long time in the land where you are nomads. We have obeyed everything our forefather Jehonadab, son of Rechab, commanded us. Neither we nor our wives nor our sons and our daughters have ever drunk wine. In verse 12, this is where it all comes in. Then the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says: go and tell the people of Judah and those living in Jerusalem, will you not learn a lesson and obey my words, declares the Lord? Jehonadab, son of Rechab, ordered his descendants not to drink wine, and this command has been kept. To this day they do not drink wine, because they obey their forefathers' command. And then the verse goes on to say about how Israel has been told by God over and over and over again, and they have not listened. So how does that relate to my big question? How can good Christians do so many bad things? And this stems from when Jesus was asked about what the greatest two commandments are. Matthew 22:37-39. You shall love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbour as yourself. So, deaf leopard, they loved others, but they didn't love God. Or at least I don't know individually, but I'm talking as the band as a whole. I mean, you just got to listen to the songs and you know they're not Christian. So they loved others. They loved Rick. They showed that to all the world. But they didn't love God. Oliver Cromwell loved God. He was a Puritan. He would sacrifice so many things for God, even Christmas. But he didn't love others. If only we could just join these two things. Love God, love others. And I think why the good Christians do bad things is because they love God, but they don't love others. Or if they love others, they don't really love God. And then Jesus goes on. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. Everything. If you want to get into the Bible a whole lot more, because we just want to know the Word of God, then I'm road testing the Christian Standard Bible, because this has got to be the best Bible that I have ever read, bar none. Go do something awesome for God, and I'll catch you in the next one.